What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Fish the Moment. Today, I want to tell you about 5 features on your Humminbird unit that you may not know about. Let's get into it. Before we get started, I recently found out that only 28% of you guys are subscribed to the channel. I would really appreciate it if you went down below and subscribed. It's free and easy to do, and it's the best way you can help support this channel and help it grow. The first feature that a lot of anglers don't know about is the fact that you can actually pause the screen and waypoint certain things that you see on your side imaging. For example, if you take a look right here, there's a little log that just popped up into the screen and there's a fish sitting right on that. If I wanted to mark that spot and come back to it later, all I'd have to do is hit the cursor pad here. This will now freeze the screen and I can actually stop the boat and don't have to get all the engine noise in the background, and we can actually cursor over to that little stump there with the fish. All you do is go right over the top of it, then you can hit the mark button. The mark will drop a waypoint. When you hit mark, you get the waypoint pop up here. Just click the arrow to the right and it'll say waypoint created. Now if we go over to our main screen, you can see that my boat is currently here. My waypoint is all the way back there. That's that laydown or that stump that was in the water with that fish on it. If I wanted to go back to that spot, I could just drive back over and fish that exact area right there. No need to worry about remembering exactly where that spot was on your down imaging. Instead, you can just cursor over, drop your waypoint, and you're good to go. In addition to side imaging, you can also stop the screen on your down imaging or 2D sonar, cursor over to the school of baitfish, hit mark, waypoint. You'll also create a waypoint there on your down imaging view. The next feature is going to help a lot of guys who are struggling with understanding their side imaging. One thing a lot of guys get confused about when reading a side imaging image is that this black space in the middle of the screen is actually the distance between the bottom of the boat and the bottom of the lake. For example, we're in 27 feet of water right now, and we actually have 27 feet between this boat icon and where the color starts. That is the water column between the boat and the bottom of the lake. Everything else is what we're scanning to the side of the boat. What this means is that we're actually only scanning 50 feet to the right. We're scanning 26 feet from this boat icon to this line here, and then 50 feet from here to the end of the screen, even though we have our range set to 75 feet. This basically eliminates a third of the screen because a third of it, or 30%, is taken up by that black space. We can actually get rid of this black space though and make the screen entirely what you're seeing on the bottom of the lake. The way we do this is go to the menu button, we go to SI Enhance, and then turn on Contour Mode. With Contour Mode, you can see all the black space is eliminated, and you basically can now see everything that's happening to the right and left of the boat without worrying about what's underneath the boat. This is all just bottom right, all bottom left. Got my directions mixed up there. One thing I do want to call out though is that you can only access the Contour Mode if you have the advanced user setup on your fish finder set up. To do this, just double tap the menu button, head over to the setup page, go to user mode, and change it from angler to custom. Custom is the feature or the user mode that allows you to get this SI Enhance when you hit that menu button. Again, you just go to the SI Enhance menu, click to the right, you can turn Contour Mode on. I don't really like running Contour Mode that much because I actually like to see what's in the water column. You can actually see right here, if we take a look at the screen, there's actually a brush pile or maybe a little bit of bait fish there in the water column. And basically this is a mirror of what you're seeing on your 2D sonar. You can see that brush pile right there on your 2D sonar. And then if we go back to down imaging, there is that brush pile right there as well. So it actually can be helpful to have this in the middle of the screen, but if you want to get rid of that black space, again, all you have to do, go here, SI Enhance, Contour Mode on, and you're good to go. Another feature I use all the time when I'm using side imaging or down imaging is the ability to stop the screen and zoom in on objects. All you have to do is hit that cursor pad again, scroll over to the object you want to look at, then hit the plus marker. This will allow you to actually get a zoomed in view of what you're seeing on the screen. You can even double zoom to get a very detailed picture of some baitfish here that are maybe being eaten by some crappie. Not 100% sure what that is, but it's cool to be able to zoom in on that. Again, you can do this as well on your down imaging view. If we want to take a look at that school of baitfish, you can just pause the screen by hitting the cursor pad in any direction, scroll over to the object you want to take a closer look at, zoom in, and boom, you get a better look. You can even use the cursor pad to zoom up and down to kind of get a really detailed view at exactly what you're looking at. Double view or 2 times the view sometimes is a little bit overkill because it's a little bit grainy, but it is good to maybe get a little bit extra detail if you're having trouble seeing the screen.
Really quick, I want to let you know about an upcoming seminar we're offering on our website, fishthemoment.com. Just head to our virtual seminars page. Here you'll find a new seminar about northern natural lakes. We get a ton of requests to talk about lakes that have no creek channels, no big schools of gizzard shad, basically the lakes that look like big grassy bowls. These are called natural lakes. And in this seminar, Randy Blocken and I are going to be covering how to catch both smallmouth and largemouth bass on these northern natural lakes. We're going to be talking about bass behavior on these lakes and how the lakes up north differ from the lakes down south we talk about in our videos. It'll be very helpful if you fish up north to translate the information that we talk about in our videos and a lot of pro fishermen talk about to your lakes in the northern part of the country. Definitely check out this seminar if you're interested on fishthemoment.com.
Another feature I always have turned on my Humminbird units are range rings. If we take a look at this waypoint right here, waypoint 936, you can see that there's actually a circle around this waypoint. And if we scroll out, you can see it gets a little bit smaller. This is a 100-foot range ring I put on all of the waypoints I mark. The reason I do this is because I don't want to get too close to those waypoints when I try to go fish them. Let's say I was pulling up to fish this spot. I want to make sure I'm stopping my boat before I hit that outer ring, so I'm staying at least 100 feet away from that spot before I fish it. Range rings are also really useful if you're trying to line up on offshore spots using the fish finder up by your trolling motor. I'll link a video explaining how to line up on offshore structure spots using waypoints to hit them first cast every time. It's a great video, so I'd definitely check it out. If you want to set up range rings on the Humminbird Helix unit, hit the menu button twice, then go to the navigation tab. Here you'll find the casting rings option. You can turn them off, or you can set them from anywhere from 0 to 150 feet. I set mine to 100 feet and it works really well for me. One call out is that this range ring option will not appear if you are in the user mode angler. So make sure you always go to the setup page, change your user mode from angler like this to custom. If we go over in the angler user mode, go back over to the navigations tab, you'll see that you will not find the casting rings option. A lot of these really cool options are actually hidden if you don't go to the setup menu and change your user mode from angler to custom. So always do that to make sure you're not missing any crucial settings. The last feature I'm going to show you is really helpful if you're looking for hard bottom on your lake. If we pause this image here, you can actually see that there is a nice rocky point that sticks out from the bank. You have some darker area here, which is going to be softer bottom, and a brighter area here, which is going to be your harder bottom. You can identify this just by looking at the difference in brightness on the screen. But if you want to make it pop a little bit easier, especially if you're graphing a huge flat, all you have to do is go to the menu button and change the SI colors from the color palette you're using currently to the red-green color palette. This is color palette number 8 on this Humminbird Helix Gen 3 unit. If you look at the unit now or look at the screen, you can see that there's a lot of red and a lot of green going on, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if we go in and actually adjust the settings a little bit by going to the SI Enhance menu, which again is only available if you have the user mode set to custom, and then if you right click over here, you can change your sensitivity and take that down quite a bit, and also take your contrast down a little bit. What this does is it basically pops out that rocky spot right there. Everything else in this area in the green is going to be soft bottom, and that rocky point that sticks out is going to be in red, which is your hard bottom. This is how I find a lot of offshore shell beds, offshore rock piles on big expansive sand flats, and it's a great tool if you're trying to really dial in on some hard spots on your lakes that other guys aren't finding. You do have to adjust your sensitivity and contrast a little bit, drop them down, because otherwise everything will pop as hard bottom. But if you dial it in, it's a great tool. So definitely make sure you experiment with that red-green color palette. And that's it for this video, guys. I kept it pretty simple this time and just wanted to run through some of the basic settings on my Humminbird Helix unit. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. I can do this for a lot of other brands of units, different models and everything like that. So definitely let me know if that's the type of content you want going forward in this channel, and I'll make it happen. Thanks again for checking out the video. We'll see you on the next one.